Jamie Davidson. I have done some conferences already with Jamie before, like many years before, and I can say that Jamie is one of the biggest, maybe, and uh, I've seen the longest Amazon sellers on the market, and he's having a long-term success, not only just with his brand, but he also have a huge mentorship, and he helped, I know, a huge number of people to sell their brands and do even roll-ups, like huge exit strategies to actually, cash out and build wealth, not just doing some small cash flow monthly with a huge stress of being blocked or just lost your positions, anything like this. So he's a very wise person, and I'm just happy to have him here to share his knowledge and mindset. Jamie, hi, it's nice to meet you. Oh, please, could you please unmute yourself first?
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, Nick. Great to be here.
Yeah, it's also great to meet you, another Amazon insider, e-com insider, as well as me.
Yes. What,
I'm
yeah, go ahead.
pretty sure we have a lot of questions for you, but maybe can you introduce a little bit on what are you working right now, what's your main focus, and a little bit about your community also.
Yeah, sure. So, so again, Jamie Davidson, co-founder for a long time, a community called AMZ Insiders, it's like coaching, consulting. We advise a lot of big brands, or big sellers, just what you said, to help them grow. And then, I've worked a lot the last couple of years, as some of you guys may be familiar with, like Scott Dietz and the Northbound Group. So we've helped a lot of people exit brands. So I work closely as part of that team. And then, the answer to your last thing, most recently, really the past 12 months, of course, a lot of the stuff on the AI front and the just tools. And so we've been working on just tools that kind of help automate some of the process of re-communicating with your customers and growing your brands as well too. So, and I can touch upon that. It's called Clarity. We have a tool. It's called Clarity 6. And that's probably been our big focus, along with all the people we support in the AMZ Insiders community.
Oh, that's very nice. Probably can we, make a structure of two sections? First, maybe some questions to you about, just the business itself and how you approach of building companies, and then it's very interesting subject. We had very big founder of one AI tool, which is totally changed the game with testing a lot of stuff on all the sales process, and I think it's one of the, if you use AI right now, you're like a pioneer on the market, and maybe in a year everyone will be using it, but right now you can really, have a huge advantage of it. So
yeah, we can definitely do that. And I guess I didn't mention, of course, longtime seller on Amazon. We sold a couple thousand products. We got a warehouse down the road here, but we broke the 9-figure mark in 2018 was the first year we hit that mark. So, kind of builds it from the ground up with a couple other partners to, the team now has about 40 people here in the Atlanta, Georgia area. We've got 200 members over in Shenzhen, China, coordinating our brands still as well.
Oh, Atlanta is perfect. I had my first office in Atlanta before Black Lives Matter. Then I had to move out because it was a hard city for me. But it's really nice. And can you maybe it's just, let's structure it a bit. Like first, hitting 9-figure mark, you say it so easily, but for real, most people don't even imagine these numbers. Can you somehow structure a bit the thousands of products? I understand it's a big infrastructure. It's not possible to do it with one product, with 10 products. So it's the processes, R&D departments, how you really build the system, build the team, and 40 people and 9 figures. I think this is insanely very good result, So I met people who had around 12 people doing 100 mil, but it's something, very, very rare and epic rare. I mean, so can you maybe structure a bit? How does it look? How this number is collected through all this product together?
Yeah, sure. Maybe that would be good. I'll kind of give you some of the background, maybe the first part of this to the extent that's helpful, and then happy to later on share some of the stuff we're working on kind of right now. But yeah, I mean, the background was I was a military officer, went to West Point, uh, and had been kind of a hired gun by companies to run companies by private equity firms. So I was a chief operating officer and a CEO of a couple of companies. And one of the deals brought me to Atlanta, and my next door neighbor is a native of China, but had been here in a long time. So he was an IT guy, and we became buddies because we're next door neighbors and kind of mutually respected each other. And he started selling cell phone cases out of the, I say out of the garage. He had them stored in the garage initially. So it's funny, way back when, then initially when he was first selling, because I'd hear him off the back porch late at night yelling in Mandarin to get things shipped over and stuff. And I used to think at the very beginning, I used to think, oh, I can't do this because, you know, I don't speak Mandarin or I don't have that connection. I thought that was like the reason why he was doing it as a side hustle, because he was an IT consultant for like Microsoft and traveling around to big companies for that. But yeah, the more we got into it and looked at it and started running the numbers, like these cell phone cases, they were super light. And, you know, we're charging, you know, $40, $50 for them, and we're paying, you know, a few bucks for them. And there wasn't a lot of competition, but the advantages early on was the understanding of like the IT background helped a lot, because I had like an engineering background. He had kind of a computer science background, but not that it was like heavy in that way, but it helped us just in terms of whether it's then or now, it's just the ability to build out systems was so critical for us. So we built like our whole logistics system. And once we saw, you know, once we got the brand and the product right and started growing, we just systematized a lot of the aspects of the business. So whether it's inventory, whether it's PPC management, like all these things, we weren't really using a lot of agencies to run our stuff. We just kind of kept building internally, trying to figure it out, make some mistakes. But we did, once we figured it out, we have like really good internal kind of standard operating procedures and everything from, you know, like even we do product selection. We have a team in China that does our product selection. They go through all these criteria, they research it. Then it comes over to our team here in the US. But it's like a very defined process that we go through everything, which doesn't guarantee success, but it puts the odds in our favor around there. So like the PPC management, we've got like 30 plus people in China that manage our PPC that are looking at the accounts. But so again, we don't outsource it to agencies. So it's just a little, again, I'm not to say I'd always recommend the certain things we do. Like we have run our own warehouse here in Atlanta, but I don't necessarily recommend that. I'd probably do a 3PL. But the high level points there are just like, for us, there were inflection points because one, yes, the timing of the market was good back then. You know, this is 2012 through 15, 18, but we did plateau at certain points, like at around 50 million. We were kind of stuck at 50 for a couple of years. And the way we finally broke through that next level was when we built the team overseas, and because we just couldn't get enough talent here in Atlanta and have them stay and for what they cost to be able to really build and grow the business. So we had to become kind of an international structured team. But again, the key to all that is just the processes and systems that, again, I don't care if you're a one person operation or, you know, 2 or 3 people or, you know, 200, you want to make sure that you're only as good as your systems is kind of what's been, you know, one of the keys to our success.
Yeah, I always say, you know, people, I see people at conferences, they come to big guys, ask questions, and then interrupt them on the first words and just starting say, oh, I already done this, it doesn't work. But I'm pretty sure when the big guys are saying this works, and some people say, oh, okay, it's only for big guys, you know, I won't do this, like outsource and have 30 people in China doing PPC. I won't do this. I am small. But I think this is the thing you need to do really, because this is how you became big. You just do the things what big guys are doing, and it's like a lot of challenges on this way, I'm pretty sure. And you just told us about the plateau. Some people also say not plateau but death valley, you know, when you or grow or die. How many of those have you in your career? Because last years, obviously, if you don't count maybe 2020, they were hard. So do you had any this kind of very challenging experience, and how it was, how you managed it?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, no doubt we've had plenty of you know, well, we've had a lot of serious ups and downs to say the least. But sometimes we talk about the numbers like, oh, $100 million in sales, or now it's $120 million. You get caught in that number as if, but that speaks to the top line, the sales, the bottom line. Obviously, the operating income is what ultimately you want to achieve. So we've had years where we've had margins at 7%, 5%. So really low margin years. We've had some years, at scale, for us, like 15% is a good number. But there's a lot of factors. There's like lawsuits. We've had plenty of lawsuits of people, let's say for our screen protectors at times, whether people say they have patents on certain things. So we've definitely dealt with lawsuits. We've dealt with major issues, even with our founders as a team. We had one of the core founders died in his 40s 2 years ago. So, that was a major issue. We've had our Amazon account shut down 10 plus times probably. And, over initially it was kind of, back in I'd say before 2015, it was like, there was so much black hat that it wasn't even black hat, it was just how you did things back then, because Amazon's rules weren't up to speed with, basically how you could figure out how to, have multiple computers buying your product and all these type of things. But over time, I mean, Amazon's gotten better, smarter, and it's more brand focused. But, so for us to adapt to all those changes, it was rocky at the time. So, yeah, I mean, in our case, we just, if something goes wrong, we just, you want to make sure you don't take bigger risk and make, lose more money. We had we've had plenty of products that have failed, but the product, we don't look for as 100% success that we're going to succeed. We just want to put, again, as I said earlier, we want to put the odds in our favor. And then if we do enough with the odds in our favor, then, it's like if you're playing blackjack and you're going to win 70% of the time, then, just you play enough, you're going to do well and grow. So that's been our approach. But I mean, you can kind of name it. We've made mistakes with, social media spend. Like, we're always testing things, but we just try not to do it so it's not fatal, right? So we try not to do things that are going to wipe us out. And so they're, bets that we can afford to make. Otherwise, it's okay to grow a little slower. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like risk management first, and sometimes you slow down, and then you grow your challenges maybe within time. It's much more reliable than just go all in and rush it maybe 6 months faster, but you can die during this 6 months. Is it very
in our case, like we only sold cell phone cases and accessories for like the first 5 years of our business, right? Like we got to beyond $50 million. We did an acquisition when we were like 15 million. We acquired like a $5 million cell phone case brand and brought them in, and then grew both of those brands to like 40 million each. But, we never went into any other category other than that for a long period of time. We could have, but we just like wanted to stay focused in that one area. And then, years later, now we sell a different brand in the fitness category, a different brand in the pet supply category. They're not nearly as big, but we waited. We were really patient to understand, hey, let's kind of nail this first opportunity and keep going after it before we, went off into other crazy things.
Yes, it's very interesting. You mentioned already that you acquired several companies, and that's I'm not sure our audience know how it works, but it's something called roll-ups usually, when you just grow your revenue by acquiring other companies, and you can just then build holding company. So this is already some kind of exit strategy, how you really can cash out later on. Do you build all your companies like this? Is this like kind of philosophy already, or you first just build it, grow, and then only you transform it for exit?
Yeah, I would say for us, it's been more the latter. We haven't we haven't had a strategy like, hey, we're going to roll up a lot. We did early on because we saw an opportunity. It was more just, hey, this is a brand. It was the guy was pretty young at the time. We're like, hey, we could pull him in and we can grow this together. And we did that well. We actually had the idea of the roll-up strategy. I had it up on my whiteboard in 20 before Thrasio came along. And we were going to buy brands because we were like, hey, we could buy them at 3X. But, that was one that we did not pull the trigger on. So we didn't go out and just like start acquiring brands. Again, I've helped a lot of people exit brands, but or prepare for exit, and grow and build. But it's interesting, I guess it's, right now the aggregators, of course, some of them have struggled a lot going through that model. So you have to be careful with it. But, I think it is, I guess I just look at it from a strategic perspective, just like, hey, if there's an opportunity to acquire someone's brand that would help us, then we'll do so. But it is not one, the aggregators have kind of placed big bets on that. And again, I think they've had some failure with it and some success. So it's kind of a mixed bag. But there are sometimes opportunities too where someone's like really struggling with a brand, maybe they want, and it's kind of low risk that maybe you can take it on if it, fits with what you're doing. That's more likely the stuff we've done than necessarily go out and just buy a bunch of brands and stick them together.
Yeah, it's something very interesting subject. I think it's deep, and some people even say only thing you should do is roll up. Just do roll ups and somehow you can end with big money, and they sell it sometimes even from the stage. But it could look like a nice numbers, but I remember the fuck ups that we got in the first one when we acquired, and just from 11 people in team we got one only left after this. So it's a lot of hard parts behind this. So I'm also pretty sure it's all about team, and you cannot just grow all this only on systems. However, I understand for your case systems come first, but also team management, leadership. I think this is a big deal still. What kind of, direct team you manage right now, and how do you approach building team?
Yeah. So that's one that's helped me from before my Amazon days that I was, I mentioned I was CEO of a company and a chief operating officer. We had those companies had, a couple hundred employees each. So I had some experience, and even from the military, just from a leadership perspective. No doubt that is a huge piece, and it's different now than because most of the time your teams are going to be remote, and so you got to figure out how do you manage them, incentivize your team, what's your hiring process. A lot of people in the e-com space, really aren't used to that. They're just trying to find a good product to sell. They're not really vetting necessarily the people they hire and how do you go through it. So if you're looking to grow even your team to 5 people or 10 people or more, then yeah, it's that whole leadership and people piece is critical. What we did is, so, I've got a few different companies. We have the brands there, and then I have my AMZ insiders. We have a team there of about 15 people. So it's smaller, but on the, what we've done with the e-commerce side is kind of somewhat traditional in that we have our US based team, we have a US based marketing team. We have here in Atlanta, we have a finance and accounting team. We've got an inventory warehouse team that manages the warehouse here, not just for Amazon, but the other platforms that we sell on. We've got a customer service team because, again, a lot of the platforms we deal on, we have a customer service team. And then overseas, again, I mentioned in Shenzhen, China, we have 200 people. What we did there is we actually have general managers over there that oversee the different departments. So we have a product development vice president that oversees the designs of our product. We have another guy that oversees the he's the overall general manager, oversees including the logistics team, the global logistics, etc. So the key is you've got to get some good people in place if you're going to grow that big. If you want to grow that big, nowadays a lot of the people don't want to do that or are not as skilled at that as entrepreneurs. And so that's where it's like, hey, just build it and then sell it, build it up to that level, sell another one. But if you do want to get past, let's say like that $5 million mark and up, probably, like you definitely, in terms of systems and people, like they're almost kind of boring topics, but you have to really get good at those things to, again, if you want to scale and grow beyond those levels.
Yeah, that's for sure very challenging. Sometimes you're just not made up, like this. It's not yours type of work sometimes for some people to manage. And it still doesn't mean you are, done and you can have only this amount of revenue or something. Um, have you got these cases when you not like played off business, but you felt yourself need to change somehow in order to grow? And what have you done? For example, I just told the story. Like I'm 5 years running daily. I do, cold plunge, and I stand on nails daily. Just first times, it was so painful, but I had ideas in my head that I cannot solve, and I don't know how to solve them. It helped me better than some consulting. But what worked for you, maybe, on these points?
Yeah, it's well, I haven't done the nails one. You say you stand on nails?
Yeah, I stand on nails and like daily, and I do it with my team on Zoom calls usually, right?
Oh, that's pretty cool. I got to see that one. That's a new one to me. Uh, no, that's cool. You're gonna get to see it maybe. The a couple of things I do, which personally, uh, oh, I got to see this thing. Ah, cool, man. It's probably
This is
selling
great.
products. Oh yeah, ouch. Looks painful. I do the cold plunge. I do that uh, a lot. So I probably do that. I don't do it every day. I do that like probably 2 to 3 times a week. I will do that. I do a lot of sauna as well too, and then of course just fitness. The more you can do that as well too. But as far as again, the cold plunge is something. Yeah, it's kind of like loving yourself, right? Putting yourself. It's kind of like standing on nails, like doing something that maybe feels uncomfortable, right? But that will benefit you. The the other one is I try to participate in masterminds. I love being around things like away from Amazon too, like things that just like where people really don't necessarily understand Amazon, but they know some cool stuff. So like we're going to a podcasting event next week, or I've been part of. I was a big mastermind, like some of the top digital marketers, or uh, how to raise capital and money. Like I love things getting around people that have basically skill sets that you don't have and learning from them. Again, Amazon conferences are great. Like this is good to pick up from people, but then what I find there's a lot of commonality, like it or things you can apply back to your Amazon business from these things outside of the Amazon industry. So that's probably some of those things I'm part of. I pay to be, I pay probably 50 grand a year to be part of other groups and mentors because, again, things that we don't know. So I am a big believer in lifelong learning. And then, as far as for each person, what they're into, again, I try to do fitness, some of the cold plunge stuff I'm into, but I think that differs, a little bit for everyone. But mine's not overly complicated, but those are some of the things I focus on.
Yeah, that's very nice. It's not something I haven't heard before. Myself also tried programs up to 100K per year. Of course, with like monthly payments, it's much easier than it usually feels. And I totally agree. If you just don't know how to do something, but you just keep around the people who has the skills already, they could be even from like different worlds from you. But with months, you will get the skills, you will understand the game, and then it's like even as the numbers of the bigger people, they will be just okay with you more and more with each month. So it's very good strategy. So thank you, Jamie. Just and for me, it's a huge amount of insights, and I think all the people here, we have some small founders, maybe around 1 million, and people with already 10 plus million in revenue. I think for them it will be very insightful. I know some guys like for several years they cannot outgrow the 10 million mark. I'm not sure if it's this mindset or something else, but something that happens like this.
Yeah, like I said, we have different platforms, but go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. I just wanted to shift a little bit to AI already, but if you have something to add.
No, we can definitely do some AI stuff. Yeah.
You told you have some your own platform and you use a lot of AIs right now. And I know you're talking about AI at your podcast all the time. So do you think is this something that can grow you more than how LinkedIn onto like next level? This is why you are focused at this point right now?
Yeah, and the way I like to think of it is, AI is like, there's two ways to look at. One is it can be like a buzzword, right? It's kind of like when everyone was talking crypto and NFTs, a few years back, and or even when the internet first went crazy back in the late 1990s, right? It was like the .com companies, everyone was getting hyped, and a lot of them crashed. But you got to look at the underlying, like what's the real value to you and your business for these things. Like forget the hype. So it's not that AI is this magic bullet. I don't think anything's changing, that there are no magic bullets, but there are real things you can implement in tools and processes. So I do view them as basically kind of software tools, but they're more powerful. And I don't know, a lot of people are just, the biggest issues, a lot of people, you talk about plateaus and things is, we can all be lazy at times. We can all just not implement things. The hardest thing is to execute. And so, tons of people, the whole world has access to ChatGPT, but what percentage of people actually use ChatGPT or use it in a meaningful way? It's actually still it's a tiny percentage. And obviously there's tools much more targeted than just that or that leverage that. So to me, it's about, how do you pick things that are really valuable? And I'm sure you probably had some presentations on here of probably some cool things to do. There's things that, there's other tools that we've been using that we didn't build. The stuff we've been doing is kind of just pulled stuff together in terms of email automation and product inserts and some of the AI tools that I think Joey was on here yesterday. She probably talked about Shulix a little bit. I'm a fan of those guys. Where you analyze everyone, all the listing reviews, and I'm sure there's some other tools that do that too. But those are like real problems you can solve. You can figure out or real insights you can gain if you can analyze thousands of reviews in a matter of minutes. That's like you can use that to your advantage, right? And solve real problems. So I try to use AI tools to bring it back to like the fundamentals of business. Of how do you solve a real problem? How do you, how do you differentiate your product? How can we do this, at a lower cost? Can we do this faster? And there's certainly a lot of tools that can do that, but that's how we think about it. Not the hype of AI, but more just like, and I don't care about AI, cutting people's jobs or going to blow up the world and generative AI. Like I don't give a crap about it. I just care about my business and how I'm going to implement certain tools to just do it better, faster, cheaper, and provide a better customer experience.
Yeah, people like Microsoft just laid off like thousands of workers because of this, but I think it's much harder for small business owners just to replace. I still have one partner, they do like AI workers, and sometimes, for example, for customer assistance, they can replace it because just they are 24 hours online. You just create one worker. It costs like $6,000 a year. And he's on multiple lines, and at the same moment, you don't need to, to have stacked people calling, waiting on the line or something like this. And for these cases, I think it's good. Of course, you need some supervisors on the other hand if AI cannot help, but you can train it right now. For some positions, I think AI can really replace people, and it could be at least very cost effective,
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And so, yeah. And one of my points is that like all of those things I think are real, like people losing jobs. It's just like what I've seen as business owners is don't allow that to be an excuse for you not to focus on executing in your business and figuring out how you can use it. Because like there are other things, those are all distractions. It's kind of like politics and what's going on in the world and this, that, and the other. Is like I could sit around all day and think about it. But if you want to move your business, figure out, how can you solve specific problems with your business? If it's, an AI customer service agent that can go back and respond back and forth, then absolutely, right? So you can implement that. If it's like we run a podcast, we automate a lot of our stuff with our podcasts, our show notes, right? Leveraging tools, let's implement that. If we can do our product research, not just with AI, but combining with some other tools, et cetera, then. So yeah, I would just encourage people that make it specific to your business and problems that you're trying to solve. And the problems you do have, even the stresses, whenever you have a problem, try to think like, wait a minute, can AI help me with this problem? And if nothing else, go freaking ask chat, just type into ChatGPT, and start asking it, to help it, and then build and see if there's, a niche tool that you can implement with your business as well.
Yes, it's a great approach if you are not, if you don't have skill of critical thinking, you just work it on with ChatGPT. Yes, that's nice. And you mentioned your tool, Clarity 6. Is it something new? I never heard about this before. Can you tell a little bit about this?
Yeah, cool. Is it okay? Am I able to pull up just like one slide on it?
Yeah, of course. You can just click share.
Yeah, let me see if I can just share the screen here. I think I will share the entire screen. Okay. Let's see if it will let me here.
Yeah, it should be.
I'm going to share the entire screen for a second because I'll just pull this up.
It's okay. I can add it to the stage here.
I'm just going to share just like one. But yeah, you can see the screen here, right?
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. And I won't go into this in depth here today. And you guys are welcome. Anyone, come check us out. Happy to, or, you can feel free to reach out via Instagram or it's clarity6.ai. But yeah, essentially, like I said, we partner with a lot of some of the other AI tools, like Schulix we're talking about, including in here, but essentially is a tool around how to connect. It's basically an all-encompassing system to include, once people buy products from Amazon, to then link them back to your own database and system and be able to email. It's an email system. It's a text messaging system. We have like product insert templates and email templates to tie that all together, along with some AI tools in terms of creating the content to communicate to drive more sales. So again, it's called clarity6.ai. These are some of the features: the email, social media, kind of everything that you do outside of Amazon itself, to be able to do more things back, to retarget your customers and to grow your sales using email, text messaging. I think Joey might have mentioned the voice drop, where we can voice message people and put it directly into their voicemail box, etc. So that is, it's called Clarity 6. And again, if you guys want to check it out, you can go to clarity6.ai. But feel free to reach out to me, either Instagram or go to Clarity 6, and you can find us there.
Yeah, sure. We'll feature it in our community also as well, because we had several AI founders with really great tools, and I'm pretty sure using this, you can just grow faster and maybe even skip some challenges, like with this tool, you can skip some big part of the teams that maybe back in the days you needed, but right now you don't need, you can just go with AI. So
exactly. Yeah, that's what we do. We basically there was things we were paying like $500 for this email system and a bunch for this stuff. And so it's like, hey, can you do it for like $100, a month? Could we have a bunch of this stuff and cut costs out? So just what we're talking about, and kind of evaluating certain things. And that's what we did. That's kind of been our big focus the last year, to be able to run a lot more on kind of do more with less.
Yes, that's perfect. Okay, Jimmy, thank you very much for your time. It was a pleasure to hearing all the insights and challenges you face. Next time you come to Orange County to any Helium-10 event, we will do nail standing. Here, it will be great.
Ooh, I can't wait. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay. Yeah, that's how nice mindset grows. Just previous speaker, before you, he was like a week ago at my house, and he tried it like 30 seconds. It was very painful for him, but I'm pretty sure he can deal with it. It's like 100 million in revenue.
All right. It's fine. I feel better about my cold plunges now too. So it feels like those are a lot easier here, and you're actually on nails. So
yeah,
awesome, Nick. Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah, it was pleasure to do some of this partnership call with you, and I'm pretty sure we can collaborate a little bit more later on.
Sounds great. All right. Thank you, Nick.
Thank you very much. Have a good one.